My name is Mimi Jones, and this is Coffee Time.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Perlak. I'm the chair of the guitar department at Berklee College of Music, and welcome to another Coffee Talk. We are joined, as usual, by Sheryl Bailey, our assistant chair. Hey, Sheryl.
Hey everybody, I'm double fisted with some espresso and water. Okay, just
That's the way to
saying.
go. I like that. And Ben Cody, our senior coordinator, is here with us as usual. Hey, Ben.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good to see you. And our special guest today, we're thrilled to have Professor Mimi Jones from the Ensemble department. Hey, Mimi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me. I don't have my coffee though. Dang.
Well, it looks like you've had probably one or two this morning, have
Yeah,
you?
I have. I had to, yeah, because I had it at 11 a.m. So, yeah, I'm good.
Hmm. Um, so what is your coffee? Do you have a routine? Do you have like a setup? How do you take your coffee?
I'm not necessarily a coffee drinker every day, but I started drinking mushroom coffee of different brands, and so I kind of like it, it's kind of cool. So I take it with a little coconut milk, because I'm a dairy-free person. A little boring, but you know,
Nice.
oh yeah.
I have tried the mushroom ones.
Yeah,
I
what
have.
is there one you like?
I have mud water right now.
How is that one?
That one's good. It's like a kind of turmeric-y dark chocolate thing.
I gotta try that. That's all.
Yeah. It's more of a hot chocolate vibe than a coffee vibe. I think I have to think of it as different.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
a fun beverage.
Yeah. Right. It is cold now up here, so it works out. It
Yeah.
works out. One other question that we ask everybody in the beginning of these conversations is about first days, because there are a lot of people listening who are settling in at Berklee, or maybe they'll start in January. And I'm wondering what you remember about any one of your days that you would consider a first day at Berklee. What are some things that stood out to you?
Well, trying to get adjusted to the campus, like where everything is, that's like a major thing to try to figure out beforehand if you can, because you can be walking in circles through buildings, the new building, the old building, you know, and the sidewalks are always cracked. So take your time and be careful trying to get around. But yeah, and of course, like where the good food is, trying to find, I'm a lover of Thai food. So I found two in this area. And what else? What else? Yeah, just knowing, I don't know, I don't know. There's so many things like with the first days, but I remember just being kind of lost and late. So really just try to give yourself enough time to get lost, and once you get it together, then you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah, and be careful if you're lost and don't run, because you are so right. It's not just that the roads are cracked, but there's like squares in the pavement, and they come up. Every single person I knew my first year who was new to Boston fell.
It's crazy. Yeah, I hurt my knee and was like with a cane for like a year because I just came off the sidewalk wrong. So, you gotta, what's a good one is to end your classes on time. Because I used to get really excited about teaching and we're into it. I was like, no, we could go over by a little bit. Mm-mm. Because you need that extra time to get to where you gotta go next. So, you
That
know,
is true. Yeah, that is true. Like really, and if you're a student, really learning about what it is to just really be on time.
yes.
Yeah, that's great. I think that if you're here at Berkeley already, you understand what I'm about to say. But if you're new, or if you're listening from somewhere else, it's hard to imagine that we have this giant ensemble department. And as a faculty member there, can you talk about like what it's like for you like what do you think about as an ensemble teacher? Because you're going to have students from all different instruments, right? And so what are the things that you would consider, like your core when you're thinking about your curriculum, your value system, like what people listen for, what you bring to your teaching as a musician of a specific instrument when you're working with groups?
Mhm. Well, one of the first things that I think about in a group is a team. So that uh, thought of teamwork and supporting each other. So many times we get in a group and it's almost like a competition, or that fear because you don't know anyone yet. Um, you just have fear, afraid to be vulnerable, and you don't want someone to put you down. I had several students this week that came up and said, "I have imposter syndrome right now, and it's freaking me out." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's really getting in the way of everything because, and it's a real thing. But you sound amazing, so that's crazy. You have that, so let's talk about it." So, sort of creating a space from day one. I always compare it to like this is like Planet Fitness. We have no shame. We don't shame you for what you don't know. If you knew it, why would you be here? So this is a place where I want you to explore, to try to see what your weaknesses are so we can work on them together. And everybody has kryptonite. Everybody here is like a superhero, and everybody has like something that's like, "Ugh," So let's work on that stuff, so we can bring that up to speed. Also, I'm a big person on dynamics and blending and leaving sonic space for others to speak at the same time, to understand. So I get this a lot because I'm a bass player. I find that a lot of bass players might be guitar players or horn players or violinists at heart because they want to be like, instead of holding down the fort. So I'm like, is this the right instrument for you? They're like, yeah, no, I love bass. It looks cool. I'm like, yeah, but it's a humbling instrument. You're not, your first job is to take care of that time and that tempo in the field. That's all really, really important. So before you get to, well, I mean, you actually get to shine because if the band is feeling good, people are tapping their feet, bobbing their heads and snapping and stuff, then I mean, that's like everything to start with.
Hmm.
So that is so important. The moment that you stop that, everybody's gonna go, "Whoa, what just happened? Something's wrong." So it's a big responsibility, and you should be proud of that. So teaching the roles of the instrument is very important, and that of course goes along with the sonic space. And my drummers are usually like bam, 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 bam. It's like whoa, and I could put on uh, earplugs, but I'm like, let's try to play to the room. That's an actual thing. So those things out in a larger scale, just communicating with everybody. I try to create sort of like a system where the students create a group chat, and I tell them this is not for stalkers. This is just for a couple of things: get together and play. Make sure that you're dropping the music you want to play in the chat so people can check it out. If you want to go have coffee and donuts, perfect, because the music doesn't just stop when you leave the classroom. It.
Mm.
So I've been able to create communities of students where they were afraid of each other, because especially these generations, these younger generations, they are like, I gotta get an A, I gotta do my work. They're not thinking of the need of community, and you need that when you're not feeling good, and you can call somebody and say, no, no, come on out, let's, you know or whatever, let's practice together. I have the same problem,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, because that also, not only does it help your confidence when you have formed a community, it also reflects back to you what you're going to work on, and you bring all of that energy to the music. So that is a form of practicing that
Yeah.
kind of community. Yeah.
Uh,
There's so many things that you talked about that I just now in your opener. And I think one thing I want to start on, when you mentioned that you were a bass player and you're talking about clearly what you love about the role of the bass in the ensemble and what you care about when you're playing. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about that, um, about your work as a player and what made you want to teach ensembles as a bass player. Like what drew you to that kind of work?
well, I mean, to be honest, I those each band I see as sort of a branch of myself. So if I'm because playing is like one of my favorite things to do, if I'm not doing it, but I'm watching them and coaching them, mentoring them to perform, it actually feels like I'm playing, you
Mm.
know? So it's kind of exciting to watch them in the development. And a lot of times, low key, I'm like, I gotta go practice that. Wow. That was some good advice, but I'm not even taking that advice. Let me take that advice. And I've noticed, just in coaching the groups in my own life outside of the school as a band leader, and as a sideman, I'm able to inspire groups to sound better in, in a more positive way, you know, than just as I feel like, I don't feel like I was necessarily a mean band leader before or anything like that. Y'all better, no, but I can get to the point, I can communicate better. Because that is a big thing that I feel like a lot of artists, they don't know how to get what they need out of the group. They don't, and they get frustrated, and sometimes that comes out negatively or just with stress if a gig is coming and you're not getting to the sound that you know, you feel like represents you. So now you're stressing. Come on, guys, we got to get this. We only got, and that right there starts to put this weird anxiety in people. And I I'm all about, first of all, calling the people that I know already I'm calling them to do their magic on the thing. They already know what they do, so I want them to do that. I'm not trying to change them into something, but to really be able to bring it together in a cohesive way. I found that, like, from coaching all these classes, it's helped me as an artist, period. So that, I don't know, that's very, to me, that's sort of a big deal why I like to do it, because it's very close to what I do outside of the school.
Mhm.
Also, I enjoy different types of music and different types of instruments. So it gives me a chance to, like, what if it almost feels like Chopped, that Food Network show. You get like an onion, a chocolate chip cookie, and I don't know, a banana. Okay, make a dessert. It's like, dang, because, like, we have a violinist, we have no drums, we have a beatboxer, we have it's crazy. So sometimes you have to really be creative
Mhm.
at how you're gonna put this together and make it work. And the department might say, "Sorry, Mimi, we just don't have any more drummers to spare." So it's like, wow, okay, we're gonna make this work. So what do we do? So it's fun. It's just a lot of fun, and I do one-on-one teaching as well. Um, it's a little more, I don't know. It's a little more, I don't want to say serious, because we have fun there too. But I think I find joy in bringing many people together, because you kind of ping off of everybody's experiences. I've gotten a little careful to ask where people are from, because, of the climate of
Mhm.
today. We at one time I ended up with, um, two opposing, let's just say that, cultures.
Oh.
But in the end, they literally, I I heard them say, we are brothers, and what happens outside of this doesn't have anything to do with us. We are people, we're musicians, and we're here to make the world a better place. So I was like, whoa, this job is like, whoa, you know, no, this is like, you know,
Yeah.
try not to get into politics, but maybe they need some more musicians up there, and then,
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea for all the reasons you laid out.
yeah, so.
The other thing you touched on that caught my ear, what you were talking about bass players understanding their role. What do you think that guitar players, because so many of our listeners are guitar players, what can guitar players learn from
Mhm.
playing in an ensemble context and playing with bass players and drummers?
That's a wonderful question. I've literally had guest guitarists come ask, friends to come to the class to show them styles and nuances of what to do. There are two main things so like if it's an R&B and funk kind of thing, that rhythm guitar is like everything, and understanding how to play parts together, if they're like more than one, how do you, because I always end up with two guitars and a piano somewhere, so that's a lot of chords, and but it can be done. So the sensitivity of you know listening to that sonic space and putting the puzzle together, how it goes, and having references of great people doing it. Um, Let me see if I can remember this guitarist, funk guitarist. Everybody loves him. I use his tutorials a lot because he's just fun to watch. And so I'll say, Corey Wang.
Corey,
Corey
Corey
Wong.
Wong, yeah.
Corey Wong.
Yeah,
Yep.
people love Corey Wong, so I'll bring some in, and they're like, "Oh wow, okay," because he explains it really well.
Mhm.
Um, and it's he can play, he's really good at moving fast with his hand. So people get my guitarists get very excited with that. There are other types of jazz styles. There's so many uh, incredible guitarists. So I'll have like a list of people for them to check out, depending on what the style is. And yeah, just bringing in a guest guitarist or somebody, even a more advanced student who can come and sit with them. But there's an emphasis on just how those holding on to a part, if you're playing like more funk style, if it's a jazz style, leaving room for the piano, and like, are you gonna play long chords, or are you gonna play more staccato riffs or hits like big band hits? Are you playing octaves? Don't play the inner parts of the chord because maybe the piano's doing that, or if the piano, like, it's a conversation that I have with both of them at the same time. Who's going to do what on this? And if
Mhm.
they're more advanced, I'll just say that, and they go, "Oh, light bulb on. Okay, we got to think more like that." But if they're more beginning, then I have to literally sit there and give them examples. And I used to be a guitar player, but I lost that. Now it feels like dental floss, so it's gone. I got no guitar chops. But that's when I just use, a reference or something. So.
Amazing. That's great. Cheryl, what's on your mind?
Wow, so many things. I'm so glad we finally found this time to have you with us. And I was just disclose that I've been a fan of yours for many, many years in New York City. I could tell you one night I walked into Smalls and you did not know me, and you were playing, and just your presence musically and as a person was so it was very inspiring. And so when then I found out you were here at Berklee, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is great!" And our conversations and the times we've gotten to play together, I'm so excited about what you're doing. particularly this jam session, which we were talking about earlier. We host your ad for your jam session, and I've attended many times as a guest and just to stop by, and I've been so impressed with your work on these things. I remember coming by, and it was summertime, and there were a bunch of the summer program kids there. I couldn't tell if they were 12-week students or but you really, and there were like 3 guitar players and 2 piano players, and this thing about letting people know their role in a very constructive and positive way, and also, changing the culture of a jam session. Right? I think this is really important, and I think that you leave a space for everybody at all their skill levels to come in and get some experience and some guidance. And I think that's an incredible thing. I think it's an incredible addition to what we offer here at Berklee.
You know, that running a jam session is, thank you so much for all that you said, first of all, because I don't think about all that. I just think, damn, this is hard. So it really feels nice that you see and you appreciate. I know one of my inspirations for doing a jam session anywhere and everywhere, bringing it to Berklee, and also including the faculty with the students. But one thing, well, including the faculty with the students don't get a chance to hear their teachers right up front. And when I notice when they hear you guys, they go, like, oh wow, it just changes the whole, it's like an unspoken thing, but they're just like, wow. And they feel so excited that the faculty took the time to do that with them. So it gives them sort of like an empowerment. So it's a wonderful thing. Like Steve just came in, he was telling stories, they were like listening and stuff. But I was going to say, jam sessions for me are very personal because when I was coming up as a woman, I remember one time I was like, I went with my boyfriend at the time to the session. He was a saxophonist, and I, of course, was known for playing bass, and I did have my bass with me. And the guy who was running it, my name was on the list. He kept just skipping over and skipping over, skipping over. When we got to the end, and he never let me play. And then at the end, he said, "Oh, yeah, thanks for hanging out with us." And I was like, "Yeah, but you know, you didn't call me." He said, "Oh, I thought you were here just hanging out with your boyfriend." And I was like, I mean, I like him, but not what? My name's on the list. He's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have called you. So I realized, like, a lot of women do not go to sessions. We don't go to those because of things like that. Also being griped, being just pulled away from our instrument. We just want to play just like everybody else. And so I definitely wanted to make a safe space for women, non-binary people to just be able to come and feel safe, feel appreciated. It's nothing about the way you look or how your body type or anything, your color. The other thing is that with the experience, non-experience, man, you would be so surprised at how many diamonds in the rough I find just because you give this non-experienced person a chance, whether they develop into it because they keep coming and they develop courage, because it's hard to get up there in front of people you don't know and mess up, you know what I mean? And also giving them a chance, and also just like people that you just discover, because they would have just been quiet because they're shy, so they never would get up. So when they see other people up, it's like, okay, because they always come in the room and I say, you want to, they go, no, I'm watching. I say, yeah, you can watch. And the next thing you know, they're up closer. They move a row closer. I'm like, you feel like you want to, let's do something. They're like, no, I don't actually play jazz. I'm like, okay, well, let's just jam on 3 chords. That's easier. And they're like, okay. And then they do it and they're like, oh my God, thank you for having this. So I can't not do it now because, it just heals people. It just feels good. And I'm like, get to know each other. I see them right now. What's your number? Oh, you sound really good. Da-da-da-da. So again, it's back to that whole community thing, and I love it. So many women. I have a lot of women drummers, some singers, pianists. I need more women guitarists. I haven't seen one.
Okay.
So we
All
gotta.
right.
All right, we're on it then. We're
That's a
on.
challenge. That's a challenge, y'all. You're great out there, so we'll send them over to you. Um, Mimi, you've a couple times touched on like getting students together, getting them to play in front of people, getting them to form community, and it's sort of leading into this question that Ben always asks. So Ben, I'm going to turn it over to you for that.
So, what do you think students should be asking when they get here to Berkeley that they're not thinking of?
Ooh, that's a good one. They should ask, what should I be thinking of? Is there anything, that I should know before starting this? To maybe like a person who's done it at least one time. But yeah, more specifically, I feel like they should ask, you know, what let me just give me like a second.
No problem.
There's something about time management that seems to be a really big one. Like they don't know when to start and stop, and like how to get their work all done without being crazy. So how to fit their health, their mental wellness, get the class on time, get their assignments. So I see them just looking hella crazy that first. And I always stop them and say, "Are you okay? You okay?" It's hard in these streets. I make a joke and they're like, "Yeah, it is. I'm making it. I'm making it." So like, I dropped my phone. So like maybe thinking about just how to organize their time. Um, oh wait, I'm sorry. My Zoom disappeared.
That's okay. We can hear you.
I feel like a older person now.
It's kind of perfect timing, talking about managing all your things.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
yeah,
hear you.
but really just okay, there you go. Really just working on how kind of like I've sat down with students to try to help them to schedule everything so that it is realistic. It's a realistic breakdown of kind of like all the things that they think they need to do, and knowing beware, there are so many things going on and you cannot get to all of them. There's so many shows, and their friends are going to be like, "Oh, come to this and come to that," and they're going to want to, so maybe asking what are the most important things that I need to check out, or I'm trying to phrase the question of like them phrase it so that they're asking a question, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that kind of goes in the category of things that maybe always were, it's always something you had to learn when you get to a certain age and you pick music. You have to learn how to prioritize your time and your focus in a different way, and
Mm-hmm.
work with overwhelm and work with feeling uncomfortable. And I think we do live in a very distracted time. And
Yes.
I think more and more people come into their 20s or their late teens without having a framework that they can reflect back on of how to do this, right?
Yes. Absolutely. You know. Also, keeping track, like journaling,
Mhm.
keeping track of what they're doing to see if it works. You know. I mean, everybody's different. Beware of doing overnight recordings where you don't go to sleep and you have to get to class at 9 a.m. Um, you know, because I see that, sometimes that's a thing too. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And they're just like, "I didn't go to sleep last night. I had to," like taking on too many projects
Right.
for other people, you know.
Well, I think I want to know what you think about this because I think part of our culture now pushes young people to maybe worry at more than we did about what your career is going to be. Where I think we had to be in a professional mindset and we had this sense that we build up our skills and we make the connections and we take, we follow the avenues of like, so that you have some production skills and business skills, or you have your major, you're set up in the world. But I feel like sometimes I sit with students and they're so concerned about how they may or may not make money that they forget to start working on their actual skill set that
Right.
will be the thing that will help them be successful as a professional. How do you handle that?
It's a tricky time, it's a really tricky time, because I mean, money is important
Hmm.
in the sense, especially if if they don't have a backing, like someone, a sponsor, a parent,
Yeah.
or a family member, or whatever, a scholarship, whatever. So some of the students really do have to work.
Yep.
So it's important for me to honor that. I actually, I mean, to be in all honesty, I am pushing students to be open to and trying to what is the word? I have a friend to my left, and I'm gonna have to pull away because I'm like outside. No, sorry. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No. And he's been like lurking this whole time.
This
I'm
is
like,
so great.
no. I'm like, no, 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 no.
This is perfect because you're dealing with the distraction in the moment
I'm
of
in it, girl.
talking
I'm
about
trying to keep
dealing with the
it.
distraction. Look at you, you're setting a
Oh
boundary.
my God. He was like lying on the ground. All kinds of stuff was going on out here. I'm like, oh my God. But I've been trained. So,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, I'm really telling them it is important, and this is how my life is too, to find maybe as you go forward through your semesters and you have to work or whatever, find something you like to do that is
Mhm.
music adjacent, that
Right.
is going to pay you, that you don't mind doing, like teaching for me. That's why I picked the majority of my stuff to be ensembles, because it feels like, and man, Steve Bailey wanted to kill me. He's like, we need more women in this department. I'm like, if I go there though, I'm never gonna get my full time in ensemble, and it's hard to get it on this side. And I waited and waited and waited and pleaded and begged and kicked and screamed. So I finally got it. So, but it's something I love to do, but it's not playing, but it's adjacent to the playing. So I'm like, think to be realistic, think of things that you might want to do. Is it studio work?
Mm.
Is it arranging? Is it, arrangers get paid big money. MDing,
Mhm.
um, of course, teaching.
Mhm.
And when I first arrived 7 years ago, I noticed there were a lot of students that graduated and became like on the faculty or accompanist or whatever. And I was a little, like I've changed my tune now, because I was a little like, they should go out in the world and experience that. There should be a mandatory thing that you got to do, like a sort of a year of traveling before you, or 2 years of traveling before you can be a teacher, because you bring this other thing that I noticed when you just kind of come straight into it, you don't have. But now I'm like, when they tell me they get those jobs, I'm like, that's good, because you can still do it.
Mhm.
But it's good that you are not homeless right now, that you are not solely just relying on this one thing, because realistically, it is difficult when you're a performer, and you even Broadway. It could even be a great tour that you have. Because I was gonna say sort of like jazz musicians, but no, it's across the board, because when that run finishes, then what? There might be another one waiting. There might not be. But what is always going to be is your bills to pay. So it's an adult decision to also have a second thing that maybe you do that allows you to go out when you need to go out, or do something that, if you work in a studio, you get free studio time too. So maybe you just have to have the discipline to continue practicing, after you teach or after you do your church service that you MD'd, or whatever it is that you do. If you do another job where you're in a cubicle and you are solely away from this, it might be hard to get back, because I've done that too, and it feels like it kills your soul. I don't know. It's hard. So I suggest music adjacent things, but maybe it's something you like to do. Maybe you're forming a non-for-profit, or you're working for one, and it's somewhere along the lines going to meet, but you're learning administration. That's always going to help
Well,
to know how to.
yeah, it's like income streams. You got to think that way, and the diversity. I mean, I do feel that at Berklee, because like for instance, your jam session is all styles. You open yourself up to more than this just single pointed thing that makes you so much more flexible to move in those different directions, because you could be an MD or you could be a ranger, and I mean, I think we have some friends in common. I know they started out as players and then they started writing scoring for Cartoon Network and all this kind of thing. They never expected they would be there, or writing jingles or whatever. Uh, so I think we develop those skills, the fundamental skills. We can go in any direction we want or
You
need.
know, a good one is the guy who created the I Real book. I forget his name right now. Who killed me? He's a bass player. And when he was doing it, I was like, wow. He was like, Mimi, I wasn't even Mimi then. I was just straight Miriam. He was like, my head is exploding. I miss my bass. I mean, could you imagine you are the person that created that app?
Yeah,
Right.
there
And
you
well,
go.
to your point there, everything helps. I just wanted to say, in support of what you both said, I was the person that had to work when I went through all my school and everything. And I tried to make it my mission to find one thing that I loved about every music job or music adjacent job that I had that I wanted to take with me. And I think what surprised me was years later meeting people who did have like a financial support system and never had to work, that there are so many skills that I had kind of over them, experience wise and confidence wise, because you do learn how to juggle and you do how to learn how to make the best of things. And to your point about teaching ensembles, man, do you learn how to adapt, and one of my jobs was recording studio, and that's how I made my first two records, because of that connection, right? And so it can be an asset. Sometimes the things that stresses you out the most, that feels like a liability, can be your asset, and that definitely feeds into the whole ethos of what you teach and what you do.
Well, Kim, and I was going to say this too, because Mimi, you said this yourself, and I am I'm always talking about this with students, that it's your limitations that create your creativity, that spur creativity. Like you're saying, well, I have a band with a cello and an oud and a bass drum, and we're gonna put on a concert. So we got to be creative. Actually, I love those shows, those crazy shows where they give you $5 for the vending machine for these chefs, and you have to make a Michelin star meal from stuff. I love that, because that's really what we do. But in our careers, I always believe that those limitations really, they get you to face, things that maybe you're a little scared of. They get you to, dig deeper into your skill set. And it's amazing, like, and you do it. And that's even the better part. Like, you do that and you face it and you come up with something that didn't exist before, an opportunity, or, whether we're talking about income stream opportunities, or just, of composition. whatever that is, some kind of gig you come upon. I believe strongly in that. I think we need to embrace that more, where the abundance sometimes creates a laziness and a casualness. The limitation makes it urgent.
Nice. Mimi, what else is on your mind as we kind of come to the end of our coffee today? Do you have some final thoughts or advice for the folks listening?
Wow. Well, make sure because I mean, I always, in a perfect world in Berkeley, we all the departments would be as one, and we would sit over lunch and talk about, uh, our schedules and our curriculums and things. But we don't do that. So each department and thing that one student has to study, they've got the core classes and all. We we just give information, take it, you have to do. So one thing is to just tell students that this does not define you in your person. Don't, you have to find your rhythm. It takes time, and don't let this school create anxiety. You have to find the way to know the essence of why you started doing this, the fun in this. And things will come from that. As long as you're doing your work and you're doing the best that you can. It's really hard to do 100% here because you're so distracted with there's so many different. This is truly an Ivy League school. I don't know if it meant to be, if we were trying to be, but it's hard. And it's a lot going on all the time. Keep sight of what your dream is and what you want to do, and stay open to new things because you're going to get inspired by so many different things you didn't even know existed. So stay open. Remember to drink your water and to try to eat as healthy as you can because you need good health and good stamina to keep on it. So just do a wellness check with yourself, check on your friends, you guys good, and try to keep good company, because you are what you eat and who you hang around. So there's that, you know.
Thank
And
you.
last thing too, um, as a teacher, as speaking about other faculty, we need to respect them, know that they're doing the best that they can too. We don't know what every student needs. We're just offering our experience. And so if you take in something and you don't think it's, gels with you, and you tried it, you don't have to be angry about it. You can just say, at least now I know that that doesn't work for me, or this works for me. Not all teachers are made alike. And, just don't let that, don't lose sight of what you're trying to do here.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And thanks for hanging with us. And
Yeah.
thanks for everything you do. And it's so good to hang with you and so good to work with you. Um, Thanks, Cheryl, for being here. And thanks, Ben. Everybody, we're going to hang out a little bit longer. But we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you on the next Coffee Talk.
Thanks.